Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and tonight is episode 117. Tonight, I am bringing you the incredible singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist Raine Stern will be joining me in the chat in just a few moments. So Raine started with the guitar at 11 years old, and she fell in love with storytelling. And Raine is in the house. She was on season 20 of The Voice, Team Nick, and then in June she released her single, I'm Not Them. I'm going to bring Raine in the chat and we're going to start this conversation.
Hey,
Hi,
hey, what's
how
up?
are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Raine. I am so honored to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. So, thanks for having me.
Yes, and tell your story and what's coming up because you have a lot of good stuff coming up.
I got a lot going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So first things first is just like I've been working on this music for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe the song gets written in 5 minutes, but the process, everything afterwards is like the hard part. It's the finding the right people and finding the right engineer and finding the right place, but even more than that, it's like if you don't have like endless financial resources like some people do, then you're figuring out like how to be your own startup basically. And I think it's really important for a lot of indie artists to treat themselves like a startup business and to like get your spreadsheets out and schedule everything and take yourself really seriously and tell people why it is, like advocate for yourself and tell people why it is that you deserve the paycheck that you deserve, so that's like the stage I moved into now in my life. So
I guess for other musicians, because I feel like so many musicians are so creative, writing music, playing music, all that good stuff. But now you're kind of moving into the whole business aspect of it, right? Because now, like, you're paying for things, you're doing spreadsheets, and you're like, wait, I just want to be creating. Like, now we're doing financial.
Yeah, no, and it's a lot of hats to wear because not only and especially nowadays, like I love the possibilities and the freedom that comes with being an independent artist. I love that you can talk about issues that matter to you and you don't have a label slapping you on the wrist for that. But at the same time, we're all just people and we also need to take time to decompress and to have self-care and to like be with friends and family and to do things that like have some normalcy. And that can be really, really hard when you're an obsessed artist. So that's kind of it's all been a learning process for me for the last several years, but I'm coming to a head now where I'm like really feel like I'm getting like a grip on it's like I've grown my hands out and I'm sort of like this like not creepy Medusa lady that's like got her all of her 10 hands like on these different things. And really what that looks like is people and networking and not just having like these business relationships, but really making sure that there's some depth to them and really being genuine and letting people know like you appreciate them and being honest about it. Like if I don't think me and another person are going to work well together, or I don't really appreciate like the feedback that they've given me, like I appreciate every feedback that I get, but if I have to learn how to be honest, and for me it's really important as somebody who wants to pull the curtains back and be transparent about what it is that I'm experiencing and going through in my lyrics and in the person that I am online, because I really want to like go against kind of a lot of the super curated fake culture that can exist on social media. And it is my goal to just be super transparent. So I'm learning the balance of personal boundaries, transparency with my audience, and also how to like have these business network relationships that still feel honest to me, and being like, here's my sleeve, like let me pull it back and show you like what my intentions are. Like I'm looking to get something out of this relationship, but I also think you're dope, you know, and just like communication. So it's a lot, but I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just like you need to just throw yourself out there, right? Because there's no handbook. Like nobody tells you what to do. Like every musician has a different story. Like some people have gotten discovered on YouTube, some people at jam sessions, some people, a parent or a relative works in the business and just signs you to a label, right? And it's kind of like everyone has such a different story, but it's so important to be creative, learn the business aspect of it, but also, yes, your relationship with social media, transparency, but also formulating those business relationships, because now you're taking your career to the next level.
Definitely. And and for me, like my specialty, especially as like a neurodivergent young woman whose family like doesn't have those resources and they didn't push me into music, like this is something that I think and I know I was born with, and it's like I feel ancient and I feel destined, and it's not like a question for me, but the creative part of this, the input of life and then the output of art is like what I just do so naturally and so easily, and it's almost like overwhelming how much of the time like I'm constantly in a state of creation. I tell people when they're like, how do you sit down and write songs and all of this sort of stuff, and I'm like, I am always existing in a space of trying to be as aware as I possibly can and trying to be as present as I possibly can, so that if you say to me, Ashley, something that feels very profound, I'm gonna like, that's gonna resonate with me and I'm gonna sit on it and maybe I'll be inspired to write a song. So like to me, if this is your life and your job, like you are never not living in a state of creation, because creating is always about it. Before you can create, you have to have some type of input and you have to have feelings about it and an idea about it. And what I'm doing right now is putting a team of people together, right, about this business side of things, which is so important. It's like if the actual message itself in the art is the most important thing, but without this team and without the business, it doesn't matter, because it's not, it doesn't matter if nobody hears it. And it's kind of like the whole thing of you miss every shot you don't take, and it doesn't really matter how good your album is if it's not being promoted. So my job now is my focus now is finding people and saying, listen, I'm one person, you have a, here's why we're gonna like make magic together. And I'm assembling that team right now, and it's part of the reason why I'm moving out to LA in November. So yeah.
You have a lot going on, and it's so important that you have a good team around you, because you're right, you could be the best musician on the face of the earth, but if you have all these people around you and they're trying to get this and they're just like not in it for like the greater good, you gotta like get rid of them, because your team is your family that you create, that just needs to be like about you 150% of the time.
Yeah. And they have to be and they have to be on board with the things that I'm trying to use my platform for. So if I find somebody like a sponsor who's got $5, but they're like, if you use this money to talk about the climate crisis, like I'm gonna withdraw it, then I'm gonna be like, well, then don't give it to me, because I'm going to. And so that's, I think it's important to be smart and to take advantage of opportunities like that. If somebody's offering you a service or money or some type of financial freedom take it. But at the same time, don't sacrifice your integrity in the process. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's so important, because, right, you could have all these sponsorship deals and they could be like, but we want you to say this, we want you to be this, this, this. And you're like, wait, no, that's not who I am. Like, you're asking me to lie to people who have already supported who I am. And I'm not going to just be this fake person just to push, your t-shirt or something.
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, it's like basically as soon as you surpass like 10,000 followers on any social media platform, no matter who you are, you're gonna start getting offers like that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you buy $100 worth of our product, we'll send you like 50% off anything in the store. But and it's just like,
Yeah.
and that already to me is just like, it's fine if that's for somebody else though, and it's not for me. So
No, I completely agree. And that stuff is so weird. And it works for certain people, but I totally feel you with how it resonates with you. So I want to start at the very beginning.
yeah.
So for people in this chat who are not familiar with your journey and how music first came into your life, you picked up a guitar at 11 years old. What about the guitar spoke to you, and what did music mean to you at a very young age?
Those are great questions. So guitar spoke to me, I think, because I listened to a lot of like soul music, a lot of blues,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was like in fourth grade, so when I was like 9, a couple years before I picked up a guitar, the Red Hot Chili Peppers became my favorite band. I was
Yeah.
like, when I was 9, like I was the Red Hot Chili Peppers #1 fan. I was just like, I could name any song, tell you which track it was off of which album. Like I was a freak in that way about them. But the thing I really love about them is how like they don't really exist inside of a box. They really do just make the music that they want to make. And if you even listen to like the song By the Way, their verses are like like there's
Yeah.
I'm now I'm singing Can't Stop. But anyways, um they've got these like intense verses that are like kind of funky and rappy, and
Yeah.
then they get into their choruses and they like open up and they're gorgeous and beautiful and whatever. They just don't have any rules, and I love that for me and for everyone. And it really resonated with me as a person who writes anything and everything. Like I'm not against making a song that has country inspiration or metal inspiration or hip hop inspiration or like anything like that. I'm not setting out to make music like anything. I'm just, here's the story, here's the emotion, here's the message. How do I best convey that message?
Mm-hmm.
But guitar specifically spoke to me. I'm doing this roundabout thing and coming back to the actual answer. But guitar specifically spoke to me because John Frusciante, the guitar player in Red Hot Chili Peppers, whenever he solos, it feels like a woman just like crying and like singing, and it's gorgeous. And I feel like he's an adult man, but when he plays, I like feel his vulnerability and almost his femininity like coming through the guitar, and I just, there's something about like stepping on a distortion pedal and like just cranking it and just like giving it your all on an electric guitar that just really speaks to me. It's like it's raw and gorgeous and also angry, and like there's like a righteousness to it, and all of that resonates with me as somebody who's an activist and cares very deeply. I'm like, well, this, I saw this thing on the news and it pissed me off, and now I need to like share my heart because I it pissed me off because I'm a loving person, you know? And there's something about electric guitar that like I think melds both of those emotions really well together, of like passion and anger and also like love. And so yeah, those are two really important, I think, emotions for me. And what was your other what was your other question?
How did it shape your childhood, like being around the guitar and then music first coming into your life?
Wow. Um Honestly, I think it has made me, I've never been more myself
Mm-hmm.
than since I picked up a guitar. And I think especially as a queer person,
Yeah.
like growing up in a small town,
Mm-hmm.
like I was really lonely in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something so powerful about being really, really good at something, and also it being an opportunity for you to just express,
Yeah.
just express whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
that kept me going. and not only kept me going, but like it didn't just hold my head above water, which it did sometimes, but it also like made me feel confident. And like on my worst days, it's like it made me funnier because I had these funny quips that would run through my head, but if I said them out loud and somebody else didn't laugh, that would impact me. And that was like being able to go home and just like rip into the guitar and write stories and like express myself made it so that that joke was funny to me no matter what. You know? It just made me, I think it made me appreciate myself because I was like, hey, dude, if I'm a jerk to somebody because we're all imperfect, or I forgot to turn in a homework assignment, or whatever the case may be, I was like, I'm really good at something no matter what happens every day of my life. And there have been really dark periods in my life where I was depressed and anxious and dissociating, and there were some times where I was like, I felt like the only thing I had was that I could pick up a guitar and confidently make it sound beautiful.
Wow. That is very deep and very vulnerable, and I appreciate you being so honest about it because like everybody has such different childhoods, and you to find that comfort in an instrument and just be able to express yourself is so beautiful because it's like,
thank you.
Because the thing is, you're such a beast on the guitar. Like, tell me what childhood was like for you. Like, how many hours a day were you playing?
That's a great question. A lot of people, I think when I was 11, 12, 13, I think that was like the peak of my playing. And it was almost like, you know how toddlers, like they just, you can teach them sign language or Spanish or English or Mandarin. It doesn't matter. Like at that age, as long as you like hit it hard consistently, or even like only a month, like they're gonna be pretty good at it. And so I feel like there's still now human beings, like it's a fallacy to think that once you're 25, your brain is solidified and you can't learn anymore. You can't change. That's just not true. But there is something so special about a child's brain. And when I was in that space, I made it so that the guitar became an extension of me, and I did play it every day for probably a couple of years. But now people ask me like, oh, you must be, in order to be able to play like that, you must play all the time. Straight up, I do not play nearly enough. There are actual like days in a row where I won't pick up or touch an instrument at all. And no, for sure. And it's like gotten to the point where like probably the longest I ever went without like really playing guitar was like a couple weeks, which is a long time for somebody who's a professional guitar player. And so, but it's, and I'm not advocating, I'm not saying like use my Raine Stern's guitar method. Just don't play. That's not, don't listen to that advice. It's not good advice. Practice as much as you can and as much as you want to. And the more I play, the better I get. But I've already like established this relationship with it so intensely that if I go a while without playing, it's just, there's like this certain level that I've just maintained. I will always just like have this certain ability, and like the more I play, I can go above and beyond that. But no matter what, I just have this like this foundation that's solid and good, and I love it. I love it so much. I want to say one more thing about the whole like sense of self thing and playing guitar. I really feel like, so if we're getting into like really personal stuff, I won't like dive all the way into it, but my parents could not be they are such opposite people. They could not be more different. And it was a source of a lot of conflict in my household because they just did not understand each other. Like there were like two things that they were able to bond over, and they were just like really important things that carried their relationship 2 decades.
Wow.
But it was really hard most of the time. And kids are smart. And me and my brothers, we're watching it. And we're experiencing a lot of the brunt of it. I mean, if I'm being super honest, like my dad is not the nicest guy. And so it was really hard. But sometimes he was like, kind of one of those narcissistic people, actually very much so, that like would make you kind of try to like gaslight you and question your own reality and like what you were thinking and feeling. And something happened when I started writing songs, when I started writing poems and journaling my thoughts. It was like I would write something and then I was actually able to, like, this wisdom was coming onto the paper for me, from me, right through me. But it was like it was coming from the stars or something. It was like here, like breathing out onto the page, and I'd read it and it would be like writing poetry was like a love letter back to myself.
Wow.
And it made it so that I was just like, this is something I will not question. And it made it so that I knew I was sane and that I was loved. And it was also the greatest and deepest sense of self-love that has carried me through everything.
Wow.
Is that ability to write things down and look at it and be like, that is my truth. And that is that, and knowing that, I know I'm a powerful person. I know I'm a good person. And I know that I have the ability to help people. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. No one has ever really gotten like that deep on the show, but I appreciate it. And I know that the people watching appreciate it too. Cause I just want to like circle back on that. You're writing all your thoughts out. Then you're rereading them and you're like, oh my God, I am the person, like I'm getting the wisdom from myself. And I think sometimes when you write things out, right, you just pour your heart out and you're just like, oh, I'm just trying to like get these thoughts out. And then you're like, oh my gosh, but like I kind of am helping myself. Like I'm parenting myself.
It's therapeutic.
Yes.
It's actually, I think it's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
And I think that, oh, these comments are so lovely. Love you guys.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful. But it's absolutely therapeutic. And I have so much like in the books. Like literally I've got little notebooks and notes apps and things, like just countless, hundreds of them. And it also is a way to document your history. And you can go back and I used to date things all the time in my journals. And I can go back and I can be like, oh my God. And like almost see my 14-year-old self going through whatever I was going through at the time and read it and visit that place again. But now as an adult, 8-9 years later, and then be able to heal that wound at that time within myself now that's deeply buried back in there and be like, I love you. 14-year-old me, I love you. And just so you know, like, you're okay, which is crazy because that was 9 years ago. Right. But it's very real. Like time and space. It's like, who knows? It's kind of all illusory. The only thing that matters, though, is like when you're having a good conversation with somebody, you might miss the nuances. You might miss the word choice, but you're always going to remember the feeling, right? And so to me, I read that and I go, just because your parents didn't get it and just because the people around you didn't get it, it's okay. I'm still here. You, me, are still here 9 years later. And guess what? I get you and you were right. You were right about it, and your heart and your soul and your head was in the right spot, because guess what, kid? You're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, being able to have that self-love for yourself. Listen, I'm not just fine and dandy all the time. I'm an annoyingly sensitive person. But I have this like laser bullet point of truth in myself that is that. And it is not specific to me. It is something you can learn. And it is something that I am here to help guide or teach anybody and everybody. And I know that the words and the depth and the care that I'm putting into this conversation right now is the same care and love and depth that I put into my songs. And I know that my songs have something special because I know that I'm special, and I know that I'm here to do something that's really beyond myself and that matters. And for that reason, I am unafraid to advocate for myself, and I'm unafraid to say I'm cool and vote for me, because I know that I feel so humbled. I look around every day and I look at the grass and I look at the shapes and I look at things humans have made and I look at everything and I'm just in awe. Yeah. And I think that it's so important to be in a state of awareness and to be present enough to be able to like know that when you experience a song and the song is beautiful, that means, it must mean that you are also beautiful, because you, inside of you, is what is creating that experience. Yeah. You were deaf and blind and you had none of your senses and you couldn't think. You weren't conscious, right? You were dead. You would not be able to experience its beauty. But the fact that you are here and able to experience its beauty means that you must be that beautiful. Yeah. And the more that you love yourself and the more that you take care of your emotional well-being, right? The more you open yourself up to feel it deeper and broader and better, and the more beautiful you become. And that is why loving yourself is the best thing that we can do for this planet, because the more you love yourself, the more you look around with care and you start to think, how is it that I can make the world around me healthier too?
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Boom.
I don't even know what to say, and I wish I had a mic so I could drop it, because like I don't even know, like I don't know now. And the people in the chat are agreeing with you. They're like, "Oh my God, Raine, yes, preach, girl!" Like that's what they're saying.
That's good. I really appreciate it, guys. Like, this is what I spend my time like thinking about and doing. Yeah. And I swear, whatever it is that helps you guys do like come to these same conclusions, find it and stick on it, you know? So, okay, what's your next question? Let's dive into this other stuff.
I love it. So at 16 years old, you started attending blues jams. I want to talk about like the importance of those times. Yeah. In day music.
Oh my gosh. So important. And like looking back, it's one of those things where you start small, you get your foot in one door. Yeah. And eventually that door, whether it's doors you are opening or that other people are opening and just like things start happening, right? You're able to look back at that time and appreciate it even more. And that's why I like to tell people like life gets better. Life gets better because the more you keep working at it, like opportunities will come. I started playing at this place called Bristled Boar. Mm-hmm. And there was this group of guys in their like 50s and 60s who were playing just like blues standards. Yeah. And I would show up and I told you I loved the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I loved classic. I still do love classic rock. I love R&B music. Mm-hmm. But I was very much so like, I can go fast. I want to go fast. I'm going to go fast. And so just every opportunity that I would get to like shred and take a solo, it was just like all about like speed and like showing off like my technical skills. Yeah. And now I'm to this place where I'm like, I'm about storytelling with my guitar playing. And I'm not just like here to impress you. I'm here to like make you feel something and understand where I'm coming from, which is an art. And it's an art and it takes maturity. But people were still like impressed because, to be honest, there wasn't and there still isn't in Madison, Wisconsin or in southern Wisconsin like a young teenage girl who played guitar like that. Yeah. And so everyone was like it started in this one little bar. Mm-hmm. And it was because like blues was really all that there was to offer me at the time. But it's as a guitar player, whatever instrument you guys are picking up, if you are, like blues is a great genre of music to really get in with because it has a formula. Like, yeah. And it's almost the same every time. It's just like whether it's swing or shuffle or whatever key you're in, it's still the same kind of chord progression. And it's something that somebody can just yell out the key. And once you figure out what that formula is, once you figure out those chords, you're in. And then it's an opportunity to just figure out your own unique kind of way of taking those words and expressing yourself with them. So some older guy teaches you like a little blues lick, and then you figure out how to like put your own spice on it. Maybe instead of sliding, you want to do bends. Right? So then you have like these little things to work with. And that's why that was one reason why that was such a great opportunity for me, to be around these cats who were 3 times my age, you know, and they just had they'd slowed down vocabulary, you know. They're not just going fast, they're like telling you a story. And the other thing that's really cool is that I met this guy named Matthew Goodwin, who was this guy in his mid-60s, blues guitar player, never played with picks, only played with his hands. And he ended up several years later, little did I know, ended up becoming a super important like direct line between me and another person who is now an extremely important person to me. This guy named Menno, and they were friends back in the day. They went to Beloit. They grew up in Beloit, Wisconsin, of all places. Mm-hmm. And now Menno lives in Los Angeles. Menno has been working in sound and engineering and audio and film for decades, and he's got resources and a production company. And when I moved to Los Angeles in November, we're going to be working together. Awesome. And if it weren't for Matthew introducing me to this guy, I wouldn't know him. And I met Matthew in that tiny little club. Wow. So it's, this is one of those things where it's like, give people the same handshake all the time. Always be yourself. You never know who and when and where and why and whatever, you know, like stay true, stay focused, because it will happen. And that's where I'm at. So
that's so cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. So you're going to LA in November. Are you like so amped to go there?
I'm so freaking excited. Yeah. I'm so excited. I've already, dude, in the last couple of days, I played at this really cool place called the Magic Mansion. Mm-hmm. Then it was this guy owned this house, and it's a gorgeous house with all this beautiful artwork. And I was like, oh my God, I love your artwork so much. It's so different. And like, it seemed like there was a lot of the same artists. And he was like, yeah, it's my daughter actually. And she lives in Los Angeles and runs an art gallery there. I'll introduce you. Oh, and by the way, my son is also extremely talented and does like production in sound for like, oh, I don't know, like Marvel and like stuff like that. And I was like, so you never know. Again, right? In Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, playing some random gig. You just got to be yourself. And if you're yourself, they'll know that, they'll feel that, and they'll want to help you. And so he was like, he immediately gave me his daughter's contact. We've been chatting. She's so excited to meet me. I love visual arts. I love all thing arts. So when I go out there, I'm going to have an art gallery that I can go and get a private tour of right away. So I'm really excited. Yeah. And cool. Then on the opposite coast, this guy a week ago was like, hey, my sister had like health problems forever, and she just passed, and she was like in her late 30s, early 40s, like just way too young. And he was like, she passed, but I've heard a lot of really good things. I was asking some people I know in Madison, like who's somebody who could play at her celebration of life at the end of the week. And he was like, and your name kept coming up and kept coming up. And so he emailed me and asked me if I would play a song. And I was like, you got it. And I went there. This was yesterday. And I played at this celebration of life. And then at the end, he goes, hey, if you're ever in New York. And I was like, no, boy, when I'm in New York. And he goes, if you're ever in New York, though, I run an art gallery there. Like and I'm connected to all of the people in the art world. And I was like, what? You don't say. I was like, on Saturday, I was just playing the show, and so 2 days in a row on opposite ends of the coast in like 2 of the most like important cities in the country, right? Yeah. And I was just like, and he's like, let me connect you with some people. We could get you like in some bougie gallery, like playing some music and stuff. And I was like, yeah. So that's really exciting. And he was like, all right, what do I owe you? And I was like, what? And he was like, for coming in today. And I was just like, oh no, it's okay. Like, I was just, that is like your sister, who was an amazing person. Cause he, like, in this email, he told me about her. I was just like, what a beautiful person. The least I can do is just be here and like experience the love of your family. And I was so glad that I was there, because they were at Ulbrich Gardens, which is this beautiful botanical gardens, both indoor and outdoor, in Madison. And they had like a Bluetooth microphone that everyone was like giving their speeches in, and it cut out in the middle of the performance. And I had brought my own PA system to play this song. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank God I'm here. And I just ran sound for the rest of the funeral, I suppose. So wow. You just got, again, just stay true, be yourself. People will know, and they will be very appreciative of it. And he was like so like overwhelmed and like in tears that I was like, no, it's okay. That I ended up getting a message on my phone on Venmo later that day that he just paid me anyways. Wow. So it's like, you know what I mean? It really, it speaks volumes to be honest. And yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful that you met two people on opposite ends of the coast, both art gallery people. Like, what? Where does this happen?
Such different, like, in different environments and ways too. Like, one was like this like super strange venue that was at this guy's house that was like really old and cool, and then the next day was like at this person's celebration of life, and I was just like, could not be, like, they're so different,
right?
And yeah, like, life is weird, and it makes me, whatever, if you are religious or not, or spiritual or not, like, something's going on. Yeah. When you're tuned in, when you're tapped in and you're like focused, the universe is paying attention, man.
Yes, and that's why you just got to be receptive of it, because you never know what's going to be thrown your way, and you got to be open to it.
Yeah. The color. Oh, we're okay. We just glitched for a second, but we're back. The colors were already here, and the beauty on this planet, in this life, was already here. And it's really not about making the beauty, it's about harnessing it and like being here to like listen to it and appreciate it, you know?
I completely agree. So I want to get to your time on The Voice, because you killed it on The Voice.
Thank you.
Honestly, like, when you went up there and you did Electric Feel, I was like, who is this girl? She's amazing. She is just like this force of nature. And the judges felt the same exact way. I want to go back to that day where you were auditioning. Like, what was going through your mind?
No, that's a good question. Because I had been stressing out because I was getting like chronic mouth ulcers, which is like caused by stress or like low lysine levels and various chemicals in your body, whatever. It's a metabolism, not a metabolism, it's an immune system thing. And I was getting stressed out, and with my mouth was breaking out in sores, and it hurts to eat or drink or talk or sing when that's going on. And so I had to use this like this numbing agent that like numbs the sores so that you can just like get through your day. But since it numbs your sores, like, sometimes I would like not really be able to feel like my mouth, and so it would be harder to like talk, and I'd lisp, or sometimes I would like even start drooling a little bit because I just couldn't, my mouth was numb, you know? And so I was like, I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Wow. But that morning I talked to my mom, and she was like, listen, she was just like, when you get up on that stage, remember that you are not singing just to these coaches. Like, sing past them, sing to the world, sing to yourself, sing to your past, and sing to your future. Like this is a moment for you to be with you and to be with the world. And like, that was a beautiful thing. She's like, sing past them and to the entire world. And I remember getting up on that stage and almost like, it's not like my mind went blank, but I remember like getting up there and being like, all right, here we go. Like, when I was sitting backstage right before I got up there, I was just like, the worst thing that could happen is I don't make it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I was like, the best thing that could happen is that I do. Either way, it doesn't change like my value or anything like that, you know? Obviously, I want one more than the other, but it should not and will not. It is so temporary. I was like, I have 90 seconds up on that stage to show them myself.
Yeah.
And I fought for that song too, because they wanted to give me a different song. I was the last contestant to get my song.
Oh, wait, what song were they trying to get you to do?
Blame It on the Boogie by Jackson 5. And I love that song. Don't get me wrong. I actually do a mean cover of that song. But the arrangement that they wanted me to do, I just didn't really feel like gave me space to, because it's like, it's such a up-tempo song, and you're just singing and singing and singing and singing and singing and singing and singing. And what I liked about, I ended up arranging like the electric feel version that we did. And what I liked about it was that it gave people space to like hear me and then feel it, and then hear me and then feel it, you know, all along the eastern shore, put your circuits in the sea. And there's like all these breaths. And I think that music like hits harder, because music is not just, think about it this way, right? If we just like played a chord and then there was just like never any like space between the notes, it would just be noise. It wouldn't be music at all. But what makes music is like the space between the notes.
Interesting. I didn't think about it that way, but when I think of Blame It on the Boogie, I'm like, it's a very fun up-tempo song, but you're like, you can't, there's no space.
Well, with only, and that's the thing, is with 90 seconds.
Yeah.
They were like trying to cram, there is space in that song, but not in like a very condensed version where they're trying to like cram everything in, all of the best parts of the song into the song, you know? And so I was just like, if I was singing the full 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes version of the song, great, let's do it. But with this opportunity, I also like, I was like, I want to take a song, and I had talked to my partner about this before I flew out last year, and we were talking about it, and we came to the conclusion that the best thing for me to do would be to take a song that no one really does that often, or would expect me to like do in the way that I did, and then make it like bring the energy and kind of the grit of like that young Michael Jackson that I would have sang Blame It on the Boogie with, put it in electric feel, and then also kind of pull more of like an intense rock energy too, and then take this like indie electronic song and then fuse it with like funk and rock. And that's exactly what I did. And that's why my rendition of that song is like, a lot of people like it more, because it's just like got so much more like intention. I'm like really punching you with the words. I'm like, listen to me, you know? And it gave me an opportunity to kind of do a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing, which I was telling you about, like blues music and stuff. He's an amazing guitar player, a major influence on John Mayer and all of the best guitar players now. And it gave me an opportunity to sing something and then also say something with my guitar, and then sing something and then say something. And it was like this relationship I was having, you know? So one little fun thing that I'll say about that electric feel cover I did is that so many people have been asking me to post a full cover of it and like put it out on platforms. I am going to, but first I am going to use that. I'm going to like show everybody a little snippet when I'm finishing it, and I'm going to show everybody a little snippet and be like, you want to see the full thing? Like, go check out my Patreon. And I'm not going to charge people like $25 to watch it, but like if you sign up at all, people will be able to watch the full thing, and I'll leave it up there for a while before I go ahead and put it out everywhere else. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you absolutely killed it. I was like, look at all the funk and the rock and the soul and the rawness. And I was like, whoa, like 90 seconds, like not a lot of people can really like bring it in that 90 seconds, but you brought it, and you know, you wowed the judges. You ended up picking Team Nick, and Nick does this thing, Nick's notes. So I know you write down things. Have you filled that book up yet?
I haven't. And the reason is is that when I went out there, I didn't know, like, they didn't tell us, like, what the coaches were going to give you. They're just like, whatever team you pick, they'll give you something.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea. So I had already brought my own notebook out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I, obviously, as a writer, I like getting, like, I like having something I really enjoy, you know? Yeah. So I have this, like, super soft, like, squishy, like, it has, like, a magnet in it, and, like, it's got, like, a nice, it's just really high quality. And to be honest, the Nick's Notes book that they gave us was, like, really, like, cheap, and, like, it's super cute. I still have it. I have some really cool, like, tattoo designs in there that I want to put on my body eventually.
Yeah.
So I did write in it. It's just not full, like, because I'm too busy filling out my other guy. So
I do mean though about notebooks, because I write a lot too, and sometimes it's literally just like the 35-cent notebook from, like, you know, Walgreens or something that works. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, because I saw the Nick Notes thing and I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody that was on Nick's team actually wrote in there, or if it's just like this this moment where you're just like, okay, I don't really want to touch it, I just kind of want to preserve it to remind myself of just getting on that team.
Yeah. I mean, it's I'll always hold on to it, because it is like a major thing that I did with my life, you know? Yeah. It's like, like, to me, being on The Voice is always going to be something that I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to laugh at it. I'm going to, like, there's so many different feelings that I have about it, but it's always going to be a big thing that I did. And so I'll always hold on to it. And there aren't lines in it at all. It's just white pages. So I think it's actually better for, like, drawing and doing stuff like that. But I wrote a poem in it, and I took a picture of it, and I think I posted it to Instagram. So there is just, like, if you find one of my posts on my Instagram that has, like, no lines in it at all, and it's just, like, a poem kind of written out, I wrote that while I was in my hotel room for filming for The Voice. So
very cool. What was one of the most memorable times for you on the show?
Oh, wow. Okay, I know exactly what it is. It would be the beautiful, this is, like, it's a behind the scenes thing.
I'm fine with that.
Some beautiful conversations I had with Aaron Konzelman. Who was
Aaron! Oh my God, I love Aaron.
He's one of the best people I've ever met.
Oh my God.
And we had some really special conversations together, just, like, standing outside in the courtyard, like, talking to each other. Like, we all had a curfew. Our curfew was 11, but Aaron and I would stand outside and chat until, like, 10:58 and then go inside. And, oh God, I love that guy. We don't, like, talk every day, but he has said some of the most, like, profound and, like, just beautiful things to me that made me feel so seen by him. Like, he was kind of a grounding person for me while I was out there.
Yeah.
And it's not like we talked every day, but we had a few very real moments with each other. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget those conversations and, like, what they've meant to me as a person.
Yeah.
He was like, you are writing stories from the Garden of Eden, and, like, God has infused you with, like, a beautiful energy. Whenever you walk into a room, Raine, like, you just emanate it, and it is beautiful and meaningful for all of us. And you're here, you are a sign, you are a person that's a sign of the times. And, like, he just, like, he, like, really is, like, means everything that he's saying.
Yeah.
And I feel so loved by him. And so I was like, and, like, genuinely too. And it wasn't like, it felt like he was, like, as, like, another, like, almost like brother of just, like, being a person, like, just really, like, just, hey sis, like, I'm with you, you know. And how special. So that's probably one of my most cherished memories, is, like, meeting some of the people that I met, and he's one of them. So
yeah, he is such a genuine, amazing person.
Yeah.
And after speaking with you for the past, like, 50 or so minutes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can only imagine the kinds of conversations that you guys had together, just because of the whole storytelling, because he has been a musician his entire life. You same, and it's just like to come from different backgrounds and come together and just have these like incredible conversations that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life is so powerful.
He's such a different person than me.
Yeah.
But there's something in us that is like feels like soulmates, kind of, you know, like I feel when we're talking, I feel like there's this thing that I call like you and me make three. And it's like it's not you and me make one, whether it's friendship or like people would be like you're my better half or you're my other half. I don't see it that way. I see it like you and me together, our combined energy like creates this other person that is us.
Interesting.
You know? And it's like, and it makes us more than when we're apart. But I'm a whole person, you're a whole person, and together we make us, and us is this other. And you can feel it too, like whenever there's 5 people in a room, there's actually 6, because it's the combined energy of those 5 people that makes that like 6th special thing. And if you were to remove one of the people, then it would be 5 people, because then there's this 5th person that is the unique combination of the energy that is all of you in that moment. Oh, wow. And I love the us that is me and Aaron. It is it's like so synchronicity, like it's very synchronized and very honest. And I think that us is like a very, very special energy. And I cannot wait to see him and his family. He has a beautiful family, and like he like would talk about his talked about me to his wife and stuff. So then his wife ended up like texting me and being like, Aaron told me so much about you, like I can't wait to meet you. And then when we both got home from the show, he would like text me occasionally and be like, your name is on the mouth of my family every day, and like you're in our hearts and prayers, and like we think about you, and my daughter is super inspired by you. And just like oh my God, Aaron, stop, I'm crying, it's 9 a.m. like come on, man.
Oh, I love that. That is so amazing that such a show can bring you that kind of joy.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, is you never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
An opportunity opens, seize it.
Yes, I completely agree. So, Raine, you have all this incredible stuff happening in the next couple of weeks. Like, albums coming out, you're moving soon. Like, tell the beautiful people watching right now, what can they expect from you in the next coming weeks?
Yeah. So, in just the next, like, I would say, I'm going to say in the next couple months, here's my rundown. I was invited on this very special opportunity and journey to go to Rome, Italy, and fingers crossed, it's like most likely going to work out. So I would be invited to perform and speak at this event that's going on, the Youth Summit, and also Rockin' 1000, and to kind of talk about how music and the arts can be tools to address the climate crisis. Yeah. And I'm going to have the opportunity. I got a plane ticket purchased by the United Nations to go, which is so incredible. And so this is always something I've wanted. I've always set out to be the Greta Thunberg of music, and here I am doing what I can to make that happen. So whether I go this time or I go next time, like I'm going. I'm going wherever it is in the world that I'm needed to talk about these issues, and to use my gifts, like to use the beauty that is what the skills that I've developed, to use them to like shred and then get a bunch of people's attention, like heads turned, they're like paying attention, and then as soon as the song is done, to go, all right, now let's talk about it, you know? And that's what I'm here to do. So that's a beautiful thing that's like literally within the next like week is going to be completely figured out and sorted. So I would end up being in Rome until October 6th. And then I'd come home, and then I'm literally just finishing packing my stuff up and planning for the next couple of really big things, which is moving to Los Angeles first thing in November, and then flying back for my send-off show, which would be November 13th, here in Madison at the Barrymore Theater, sponsored by Capital Times. It's going to be a really big deal, because not only is it a fundraiser for me and like the music and projects that I'm going out to Los Angeles to work on. But I have guaranteed that no matter how much money we raise, and I'm very confident that we will be able to do something substantial with all of these lovely supporters and beautiful people, that no matter how much money we raise, I will personally write a $1,500 check to the Clean Lakes Alliance, which is an eco-friendly environmental organization here in the Midwest that helps keep our freshwater lakes and stuff clean and free of plastic, and just tries to help keep the ecosystems healthy. So that's a beautiful thing I'm doing in like less than 2 months, 7 weeks. And then when I am there in LA, I am networking, I'm meeting people, and I am primarily focusing on going from, which is going to be a strange shift, but it won't be forever, focusing on like moving from being like a performing artist to being a recording artist. And don't get me wrong, like you see the mic, you see the guitar, like I'm here in my studio with all my stuff, you know, like I've been a recording artist for a long time. I actually recorded my single I'm Not Them myself here in this room. Wow. I did everything but the drums. And not that I played the horns, I'm not a horn player, but I recorded the horn players in this room. Cool. And yeah, so I'm very proud of what I've been able to do on my own as a person who did not go to engineering school. I took guitar lessons for like 3 weeks, and then my guitar instructor moved, and then I was on my own from there on out. So like I've really been sticking to it, and like am 99% self-taught. But here's where like the business and the growing all of these things comes into play. I know that there are so many other people out here who have more experience or more time or the ability to help me, and I am not going to be like a proud person who's like, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to be like, you want to help me? Good, because I could use your help. Yeah. And that's why I'm moving there, because I have the opportunity to work with some engineers who aren't going to try to sign me to a label or get the rights to my music. They're actually so proud of me as a person. Like they saw my I'm Not Them music video. They saw Touch and Don't Feel Right. And they were like, who mixed that? And I was like, I did. And they were like, what? And they're like, where did you go to school? And I was like, I didn't. And they're like, that's unheard of. They're like, let us give you some resources and teach you and take your independence even further so that you can be this unstoppable force. So I'm going out there. I have recorded my album. I wrote I'm Not Them when I was 15. I'm 23 now, 8 years ago. But I have 3 albums worth of music. And the only reason that I'm not just dropping these songs is because I'm going to go to LA and I'm going to make it sound like sonically there's a difference between writing a good song and then producing a good song. And I'm going to make absolute sure that it sounds the best it possibly can. If it doesn't sound like the latest Bruno Mars record that just dropped in terms of like quality, I'm not dropping it. Wow. So I'm going out there to work with these people. That's why I'm trying to raise some funds so that I can hire the best studio musicians to play these songs. If they're great songs, they deserve great players and they deserve great care. That's what I'm doing. And we're going to hit it hard. And then that album, I'm going to be dropping like acoustic stuff and focusing on YouTube. This summer, after I came back from the show, I've been playing out as much as I can during we're still recovering from COVID. We're still in it, but I've had opportunities to play and I've been going back out there and playing as much as possible. But my next step is to focus on online, talking to you guys on live streams, putting out like demos that I've been working on as I'm working on things. Like before I drop this album in its final form next spring, what I am doing is dropping little things, letting you guys hear it, especially on my Patreon. I'm going to be like, check out this demo, check out a snippet of this demo, but like released months or even years before it gets released. So you guys will definitely have to join me on that page, because you guys are going to get like a sneak peek on all of the magic that's going on. But I'm focusing on YouTube. I'm focusing on like dropping acoustic versions of these songs so that you guys can hear them before they like become their final form.
Yeah.
And they already are figured out. They're already arranged. All we need to do is go there and hit record and do it with like the best people in the industry. And then it's just a matter of like scheduling it and putting it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just focusing on this next, like 2022 is all gonna be about me traveling the world, giving talks, being the Greta Thunberg, like powerhouse, queer, feminist, like social justice advocate that I can be, trying to talk about mental health, and also like planning all these music videos and putting these shows together and working with some of the world's best musicians. Like, I'm going for gold.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get it.
Oh
and
my.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Yes! Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to hear this album. Wait, you said you have like 3 albums worth of music? What?
I do. I have even more than that, but I have 3 albums fully planned and written out.
Wow.
One is called Into the Light. The next one is going to be called Pop Cult, and it's a pop album that's also a commentary on pop culture. And then the third one is called Lonely Together, and it's a commentary on our climate crisis. It's also talking about how so many people in my generation, but everybody now, their identities are wrapped up in social media and their phones. And I talk about how so many people feel isolated, especially in our very political, like, difference that we're feeling and separation. And I'm talking about how all of us are feeling this, but we're not acknowledging that we're all feeling this, and therefore we are lonely together. And
Right.
I'm kind of like using it to address these issues in a way that I don't think I know has never been talked about before, because you hear Bob Dylan, you know, like playing his folk songs about the redwood forest or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But folk music, while it's beautiful and it has its place, is not going to be the game changer and the force that it needs to be, that we need right now to address these issues. We need really, really good, well-produced pop music.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to be Rage Against the Machine if Rage Against the Machine was a young queer woman who made pop music.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's so good, you guys. Like, I promise you with every fiber of my being that I will literally give you some of the best music you've ever heard, because I will have it no other way. Like, I'm so passionate about it. So
I know you're passionate about it. The people that are watching know you're passionate about it. And it has just been such an honor talking with you this evening, just because, like, I could just listen to you talk all day about all types of things, because you're so passionate about music and helping people and climate change and just like spreading awareness and truth. And I admire that so much. So thank you for your honesty. That's all the questions I have for you this evening, but you're going to perform for us.
I'm going to play you guys a couple of songs.
Yes! Take it away, girl.
So I was talking about the albums. This song I'm going to play for you guys is a song called Sex, and it's about like sexual guilt, and it's also about how for some people, like, being in same-sex relationships is looked down upon, and it's me kind of like, it's a sexy song, but I'm trying to also like kind of be a healing force and wholesome in the process.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here come the vocals. It's the smoky velvet lounge when you kiss my neck. Dragging a force of fingers down me like a blush sunset. Yeah. And you hide memories in the crevices of our sex. Oh, yeah, yeah. Saying it's a privilege that you won't soon forget. Yeah, and it's a sickness that we We all think that we're so sick. Your papa doesn't want you to dance like that. And it's a sickness that's been built brick by trick. Your mama doesn't want you to want me so bad. But you want me so bad. I'm gonna awake in the middle of the night, guaranteed. I'll be moved to move away beneath the apple to see. 2 a.m. 2 arms, 2 legs times 2 is you intertwined in me. Yeah, yeah. And I think that I'm finding clarity in the sweat that's making it hard to see. And it's a sadness that you think you're so far. You have to see them close, you see stars. It can be a lot to behold, one of the day that just goes. But it's all the stars that make this feeling cause more.
Yes, guys, give it up for Raine. That was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Raine, the energy we all need. I agree.
Yeah. I'm here to be your guys' the internet friend you didn't know you needed until now.
Love it. So, what's your next song?
The next song, I figured I could give you guys a taste of a song that I wrote called Lumen.
Mm-hmm.
And this, just a taste. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to play the whole thing for you guys. But this song is a song I wrote when I was 18 years old about loving somebody unconditionally. And at the time, that person did not love me back in the same way. But it is now one of my brother's favorite songs of mine.
Yeah.
So, hey girl, you missed out. Anyways, let's do it. So the song is called Lumen. Well, they don't know about the dark letters you write to yourself late at night. And strength aspires to be like you, yet at times you're owned by the fright. And the future is so unclear, it inches nearer, oh so near. The split picks up year after year, but I'll still be here. So wipe your tears, just lead me into the light. Oh, here I am in plain sight. Will you love me now that you know? Oh, it's true that my troubles are nothing but ghosts. My heart's been a nomad for most of my days. All this way, I've displaced from a deep dark space behind the face of a cynical man, always drinking hands, can't show the way. Maybe I can and I will stay. So open up your mind and step inside again. Oh, I believe in you. Breathe in your chamomile. Oh, just lead me into the light. Here I am in plain sight. Will you love me now? If we both know. Yes, it's true that my troubles are nothing but ghosts. Oh, yes, I don't know if I can believe I'm so out of answers for why. So just say that you love me. One, this will be the truth that I live by. Well, it can get so hard. When we are so far. By time and space, but also in our hearts. And that's what makes it so hard. But if there's one thing I'll spend my life walking to you.
Yes! Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, have you released that song, or has that just been in like the vault?
It's been in the vault, but I do have a pretty sick recording of it that I'm thinking about just dropping next month.
Oh my gosh, you totally should.
Just because why not, you know?
Why
Just
not?
be like, here's Lumen. At the end, I sing this like kind of beautiful thing where I'm like, oh, I'm back to you. But in the actual like full band recording, I just do like a gnarly solo right there. It's just like live tune and I just go nuts for like a minute and a half. So yeah, no, you know what, like I've been thinking about it for a while, and the recording that I have of it is really good, so I should just put it out as just kind of like another incentive. Like, I'm Not Them is going to be on the album, Lumen is going to be on the first album, and I should just start like dropping the little things that I do have done, and just be like, you know what, guys, like this album's going to be really good, so support me so that I can finish it, and I'll just drop that stuff. So You know what? Now that I've said this,
Yes, it's happening.
it's happening.
I feel like with social media, like with the whole TikTok sensation, right? It's like, what can you give in the first 7 to 10 seconds? And so I think the short little clips, like, hey, this is my new song. It's gonna be in the new album. Boom. And then as soon as someone gets it, it gets cut off. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, keep watching, keep supporting, it's coming.
Yeah. And so that's I want to keep giving people incentive to pay attention. And what better way to do that than to actually just, I have way too much music that I'm sitting on right now. Like a lot. And I don't just write songs on guitar. I also like produce. So I make like electronic driven music too. So I'm thinking about just like really just giving people little like snippets. And at the very minimum, just like a ton of good voice memos.
Yeah, because the
Why
thing,
not?
I feel like people, and guys, if you're in the chat, please agree. Hopefully they'll agree with me.
Just tell me to do it.
Yeah,
just tell me to do it.
Raine to do it, because I love, like, so I reach out to a lot of musicians, but there's people on their Instagram profile, it says they're a singer-songwriter, and I can't find any little clip of them, not even 5-6 seconds of them singing. And I'm like, I want to hear your voice though. I want to hear your capability. So I think even if you drop some of that electronic stuff, people will be like, whoa, oh my God.
They would. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like scared to like give people tastes of it before it's done, because I'm just like, oh, I want you to hear it in its final form. But like if I played you guys like a tiny snippet of like one of the songs that I've done that's more like electronic kind of driven, you'd be like, drop that now. And so like, you know what I mean? Let me play 20 seconds of one of them for you guys.
Let's do it.
Okay, here it is. Is it coming out? It's raining here now, so it's got a little... Oh, here we go. Here it is. With the street I'm skipping ahead. To me in slow-mo. Finally found a feeling to keep me alive, and it's in your soul. You say, shall we go? Do you wanna come? Come along with me. We can make some in my dreams. My heart. Do you wanna come? Come along with me. We can make some in my dreams. All right, that's all you get. That's all you get.
Like, are you joking? Of course I want Raine to do it. Do it, Raine. At the same token, people appreciate the process and progress you make so much. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So good. Oh yeah, drop that. So yeah, pretty much everyone in the chat agrees with me and wants this new music.
Yeah, dude. I got, and here's the thing. No one, if you are producing your own stuff, which I write and produce all my own stuff, like I'm not working with any producers really. Like at the moment, and this is not me like unwilling to collaborate. Like I have written Lydia, who I'm sure if you guys follow me, you know who Lydia is. Lydia and I have like written like a lot of lyrics together. So and Lydia's brilliant, and I'm bringing Lydia with me to Los Angeles because the entertainment industry deserves to know who she is as well. Like I'm like the musical force, but Lydia has these like great like concepts, and she'll tell them to me, and then because I'm like just very empathetic with her and have developed this skill, I'm able to just like interpret what she's saying into sound. Totally. And that's really special. So I'm actually quite good at collaboration. It's just that I'm also like extremely independent. So everything that I just played for you guys in that track, like I recorded that and I made that. Which is also why I'm like, I'm just so, guys, I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, you're looking at, like, if you type in, eventually eventually when you type in perfectionism like on Google, like they're gonna just show a picture of my face. Like I'm just like, I don't mean I am perfect. I just mean I am a perfectionist. I'm just like over here, just like blah. Like I can't ever decide on anything because I'm just like it could always be, you know. Yeah. So your own worst critic, you know. But you know what I'll do. You know what I'll do. I'm just gonna start putting out like versions of these songs that are stripped back, so that when I drop like the full version of the song, like here's what I can do, right? With a song like Something Like a Dream that I just played for you guys, I could do a version of the song that's this, that's crisp and cold and juvenile. I've only lived a short while, but it was wild enough to know. Just like drop like an acoustic version.
I am so into that. So the chat is blowing up. People are like loving it. Do you have time for a couple questions?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm here all night.
Guys, if you have questions for Raine, which I know some of you guys have questions because you said so earlier in the chat, and we were just like in the throes of stuff. So I'm sorry that we didn't get to your questions then. But please, if you put questions in the chat earlier, please type them back up and put them in the comment section because Raine is here and we're gonna do it.
I'm also willing to like look through this and just like answer your questions that are in here. But yeah keep going.
Yeah, guys. So please. So let's talk about that the single that came out in June. Can you talk about the inspiration behind it?
Sorry, that was that word, the inspiration?
The inspiration behind the single that came out in June.
I'm Not Them was a song I wrote when I was like dead smack in the middle of high school. And right in the middle. And it was my parents had just gotten divorced my freshman year. I wrote the song like in between sophomore and junior year of high school, and I was like starting to like kind of date people a little bit and like just experience my teenage years, you know. And something that I had experienced a couple times was like, you know, like even if I was dating somebody and then I broke up with them, like they would be under the impression that I just no longer cared about them, or that that thing was just over. I feel like we've been trained in this culture to be like everything is an on or off switch, and I just don't. Sorry, I had to like turn my brightness up on my phone so I could see it. I really think that that you can love somebody and things can be hard and your relationship can change and you can continue to love them. And that was not only something that I experienced in like my romantic relationships, but also in my friendships and even in my family, or something I observed happening in my family. Like I was like, okay, just because my parents divorce each other, like doesn't mean that you guys can't be like cordial people and can't still like love each other just because things are different now, you know? And so I'm Not Them was kind of my way of saying like, maybe that's the way other people are, but I'm not those people. Yeah. And I was saying like, hey, even if we're like going on a date and whatever, we kiss, and maybe I am thinking about somebody else while we kiss, and maybe you think that means I don't care about you. But I have an enormous well of love inside of me, and I have so much to give, and it doesn't mean that I don't care about you. And it was also me kind of commenting on my family and being like, just because we're apart doesn't mean that we have to be, you know?
Totally.
So that's what that song is about.
Thank you. When is your first USA tour?
That would probably be next summer.
Yeah.
So, or maybe even as early as next spring. But cool. Yeah. So I would love to like go on tour right now, but just not and I have so much other stuff that I'm getting together. I like the album that I'm finishing, and then some music videos that I want to do, and just promo materials. And then also like the environmental stuff. I'm putting everything together so that when I do go on this tour next like late spring, early summer, it's gonna be so good. Like, I'm working with this guy who, like, his specialty is that he programs all of the changes that take place in the sound in songs. So, like, if you're playing guitar and you have just like a clean chord strumming and then you go into a solo, he programs like the sound changes so that you like don't have to do anything on stage. Like, you don't have to press a pedal board if you don't want to. And he also programs like lights that go with every song. Like, he's when you watch like a really big tour, like if Doja Cat or John Mayer or any like A-list person goes on tour, they have that person who programs all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm this guy who's like, listen, you are that good. Yeah. The next time you actually go back out into the world and start playing shows, you are never going to play in some dinky bar again. You are never going to play at some festival and not have it be everything that it's meant to be. Like, he's like, I believe in you so much. I'm going to help you make sure that the way your show sounds and looks and the people that are on that stage with you, like, elevate it to the degree that it needs to be. Because the other thing is too, is like, I love all of the people that I've had the opportunity to play with and that have had the opportunity to play with me. But to be honest, like, where I'm at in my musicianship and where my songs are at in their musicianship, like, I really haven't had the opportunity to have every single person on the stage with me, like, be as good as the songs deserve. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's not a diss at anyone. That's just the truth. Mm-hmm. And so I need to work with a team of people who are just as good or better than me, preferably.
Yeah.
I want to be thrown into the mix of people who are going to like light that fire under me and make me want to grow harder, you know?
That quote, when you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. It's like, you want to be around like legendary, incredible musicians because you're just like, help me elevate my game.
Yeah. And that's like, I will never know it all.
Yeah.
And for some people that's like makes them anxious, and like, I'm an anxious person too, so I feel you. But that is so exciting. Mm-hmm. Like, I get you're telling me that I am guaranteed a lifetime supply of never-ending learning.
Yeah.
Like, engagement, if I so choose.
Mm-hmm.
That's rad. Like, there's so much to know, and I will never, ever stop, like, growing unless I choose to. So, yeah, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the best person on the stage. I want to be surrounded by people who, like, kick my ass.
Me too. It's like, I need to learn from other people because I don't think I'm the smartest person. Like, I always. Yeah. Who is your biggest inspiration in music?
Wow. Right now, my favorite pop song that's like in the last decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would be Love It If We Made It by the 1975.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics in that song are so good, and the production in that song, like, they really did the job. Not a good job, not the perfect job, but the job. Like, it's not about, and this is funny coming from me, but it's not about perfection. It's about, like, doing whatever you have to do to tell the story the right way.
Yeah.
And I think that they told the story the way that they meant to. Like, mm-hmm. They had Matthew Healy and everybody else in that band had a message, and I think they did a good job of saying it.
Yeah.
And so I love the message that's in that song. I love the production that's in that song. And every single time I listen to that song without fail, it's one of the a few songs that I could listen to like 10 times in a row and love it just as much every time.
I know, and that's so rare with music, right?
Especially with somebody like me who like writes music.
Yeah.
So my critical brain is like just going off all the time, like whether I want to or not. Whether mm-hmm. like when I'm not like, I don't really, okay, I am a master of my craft, but like I'm still growing, you know? But when you are like a master at something, like you can't help but like notice everything. And sometimes it kind of like gets in the way of just like appreciating it. But when I listen to that song, like, I don't find anything in it that I would change, which is so nice.
Yeah. Have you ever written a song and thought to yourself, this is who I needed when I was younger?
Wow. Yes. Wow, that is, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question.
I know, right?
That's a good question. You should be proud of yourself for that one. Like,
it wasn't you, it was someone in the chat.
oh, wow, okay. Well,
these are all fan questions.
Okay, whoever you are, that was a great question. Because you actually have me like going, like, thinking about it for real. Like, I'm not just like, just say it one more time so it really sinks in.
Okay, let's go. Have you ever written a song and thought to yourself, this is who I needed when I was younger?
Wow. Yeah, so I wrote this song when I was 18, 19? 18. I was 18 years old, called Patient Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And the lyrics are, I bet I have them somewhere, I can just read them. The lyrics are me actually, here they are, got them right away.
What?
I've learned to be very organized, so I have my Google Drive open, and I was telling you about the 3 albums that I've got. Right. I've got like all my demo tracks. Shoot me your Gmail because I'll just link you to it so you can hear all my stuff. No, so I've got all my demo tracks, and then I also have a folder inside of that folder that's like all of the lyrics for those albums. So I'm able to just go boop, 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 which is like, I have ADHD, so I'm like really thrilled with myself for doing that. But this is about me talking about how when I'm, and this I think resonates with a lot of people, but when I'm like depressed and anxious, because I am a good person and I mean well, I've gotten like really pissed off at people for like not caring about things the way that I do, you know?
Yeah.
And I get a chip on my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start being kind of a jerk because I have this chip on my shoulder, right? Like, this is how pain works, is like, who hurt you because you're a bully, you know?
Yeah.
And this was me actually acknowledging that in myself and having a very honest conversation with myself where I am not like the hero of the story. I'm not the protagonist. Mm-hmm. And I'm having a very real conversation with myself where I'm like saying like, hey, pay attention, because when you get really self-righteous and you come off to other people like super arrogant, and it's not because you are, it's because you care so much, and then you get a little like, you get aggressive, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I'll just read you a few of the lyrics if you'd like. No bright complexion could ever hide the twisted reasoning that's in your mind. Mm-hmm. Fall back on me when you get tired. Quit trying to run the line. I've been here by your side. And this is me talking about people in my family or friends who have been there for me, even when I was this person. Or when I continue to be this person, because it ebbs and flows. Yeah. And then I say, even patient heroes, patience can grow thin. Mm. When you weave from the smile, you're faced with the liar that's within. Mm. Crooked, and now here we are in the second verse, that was the chorus. Crooked is your love. Don't be so self-righteous. And it's just not enough. Tell me now, what is life if you remove love? Mm. And then in the bridge, this is me like talking to myself. I say, and the more we dance, I learn your moves. Always giving another chance, but now I can clearly see you. And it's like when we make excuses for our behavior. Right. I'm talking about like the longer this goes on and the more I like sit with this thing in myself, the more I like realize how like manipulative I can be. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Yeah. And because we all, like, when we're feeling down, sometimes we start to get like leechy with other people, where we're like, we become the energy vampire. Yeah. I'm actually glad that I have had people be an energy vampire to me and that I have been that person, because now I like see it with more clarity and with more compassion. And when people are getting leechy with me, instead of getting angry, because I would be a hypocrite to do that, I just go, these are my boundaries.
Yeah.
And so this song is like those are the full lyrics. Like that's it. It's very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Song is me like calling myself out, which is, I mean, I needed to write that song. Only I could have written that song for me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will relate to that because they'll go through. So
definitely, I think boundaries is so important, and it needs to be established. And like, some people never know that, but like, yes, establish boundaries in all of your relationships. It's so important. So that's all the time that we have this evening, Raine. But do you have any final words for the room?
Thank you guys for watching and participating and for your questions. If you have any more questions that we didn't answer, feel free to like email me. My email is linked in my Instagram. I'm always, however long it takes to get back to you guys, like I'm always down for a good introspective conversation. And keep growing, whatever that takes. I can't tell you what that's going to take for you. And stay tuned, because we're in this for the long haul. I'm not one of those what's the word I'm looking for? Like one-hit wonder kind of people. I've got a lot of good stuff under my belt, and I will literally never stop until I'm dead. So
I love it.
Stay put, but also move around.
I love it, guys. If you don't, please make sure to follow Raine. She has so much stuff coming. She's going to be dropping all these teasers. The album's coming soon. She's doing the show in Wisconsin. You can buy tickets. Support Raine. She's going to LA in November. Like, guys, there's so much coming, and just support the music. And guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibe with Ashley Live, and I support incredible musicians like Raine all the time. So guys, give us both a follow, support good music, be safe, be kind, and keep on pushing towards your dreams.
Ashley, thank you so much. Thank you for the great questions. Thank you for being such an open person. This has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Please come back anytime. I know you have a lot of creative things to say and share, and please come on my platform whenever you just want to like get it out.
There's no reason we can't do this again.
Exactly. I do this all the time. So come join me whenever you want to.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.